Mr. Siri is going to be up here on stage at the same time. Oh yay, to hold my hand and help me with pronunciation. But let's see how we go. Hello, I'm Anne Griffin and this is Andrew Siri. And if you haven't seen us in a classroom, then you may have seen us buzzing around the yard doing yard duty, or drama and photography studio, or fronting Rice 11 together. You may be familiar with us as teachers, but for the past 6 years we've been wearing another hat. That's the hat of a parent. And with these on, we are witnessing today our daughter Sarah Jo Siri and her year level peers experiencing their final day of official secondary school classes forever. Even if you're an old hand at this, with a number of kids having passed this way, it is still riddled with emotion. This year, I completed the school bus frame. Some parents may have achieved a very similar goal. I placed the final school portrait into the Year 12 slot, finishing the set of school portraits taken of Sarah Jo over her school life. 13 years in the making this album took to complete. It sounds like a long time, and yet it only feels like yesterday that I brought this bus for $8 at Spoils. This shows the transition from a giggling preppy who loved Barney the dinosaur to I can't go out to tea tonight because I've got stuff to do, Year 12er. This quaint bus actually represents a speeding roller coaster of memories, and now it's at the top of the track, about to descend into the gruelling work of SWAT back and university choices. As a parent, I am exhausted, and yet it's not my ride. I'm only watching this roller coaster that my daughter, her friends and life peers are riding, the inheritors of planet Earth, the future guardians of the galaxy. I truly wish them God by their side. Choosing Damascus was a big decision for Sarah Jo. She was given the choice to go from Villa to Loreto, where all her friends were going, or she could go to Damascus, where both her parents were teaching. With some gentle persuading and big bribes, she finally enrolled here and started her first day at Vic Street. Inspiring her to do her best, her parents sent her with every item on the book list in her bag, only to discover everyone else had come lightly, bearing just a pen and pad. For many, this was the many of our parent goof-ups. There are some heartfelt thanks that any parent would feel towards an institution that took their most precious possession each day to mould them in character, spirit, confidence, and hopefully teach. Although I can say every single teacher that stood in front of my daughter had a direct impact on who she is today, and for that I thank you, I'd like to say thanks specifically to the support of her TA teachers. They gave Andrew and myself the chance to regularly chat about Sarah Jo's educational pathway in an easygoing, supportive environment. As teachers, we already had prior access to her reports. But as parents, we needed those defined times to focus directly on Sarah Jo's schooling. Thank you to Deb Larson, David Mize and Loretta Cavell for being part of the journey as a parent. We also want to thank House Leader of 6 years, Dan Jans. He always made both students and parents very guilty if any swimming, sports or athletic days were missed. But that was only because we knew that he would be a rock of support if we ever needed him. As a parent, I could not be happier also with the amazing support of Sarah Jo's Year 12 teachers. Emails home about coming tasks, messages of deadlines, always high expectations, and the belief that any student can shake up the bell curve if they're motivated. These teachers ooze passion. Passion for their subject and passion for their chosen career. So thank you equally to these teachers in order of height. Greg Mack, Tony Paints, Adrian Newman, Andy Robinson, Martin Ryan and Nick Yandell. I think I got the order right. Thank you guys. It is probably the best PD, professional development, that you could have by having a student living in your home. I had clear feedback when a class worked well, or I missed the mark. Mum, that wasn't a very popular choice in that theory class so close to when prac was due. Or yes, Mum, you're very clear, I understand what it's about, so does everyone else. Okay. Being asked about isometric drawings at 9 p.m. at night or appropriation tasks at 7:45 a.m. in the morning was common. And I'm sure if all teachers could take their students home, we would see a massive improvement in marks. Here's a suggestion. For 5 years, Sarah Jo avoided the embarrassment of selecting classes taught by her parents. When, until suddenly, she picked up both photography and design out of the blue in Year 12. I had passed some huge test teaching her friends during Year 11 before she would consider being in my class. I had been given the nod by her friends that I wasn't too embarrassing. Thanks, Danielle. The pride of seeing Sarah Jo's final artworks displayed at the end of year exhibition alongside her classmates is one of the most thrilling moments in my life. This year has been a special this is the moment, or has a special this is the moment quality to me. Since I was a preschooler, I had two defining things about myself. I was a creative person and I would always need to express this. And two, I always wanted to be a mum. I told my mother I planned on having at least 40 kids. Well, 2 kids in a teaching career was more than enough. Little did I know the battle it would be to balance both of these inner desires. To be able to teach and see your child sitting in the classroom looking back, listening, is an image I'll remember forever. The working mother finding balance, if only for a fleeting moment. Parents, get involved with your children's school, if you can, through TA meetings, mass attendance, excursions, sharing skills in class, helping with school productions. There will be good and bad, but mainly good. And don't worry about embarrassing your kid. They'll get over it, and they'll thank you one day for you showing your interest. Class of 2014. Over the past 13 years, your work has been given grades, comments have been scrawled in red in the margins, teachers, classmates and your parents have given you their opinions, advice and criticisms. Feedback is important. Look for mentors to continue learning as a lifelong pursuit. Use your wisdom and resilience to use this feedback to grow and to explore your potential. I'd like to leave you with the quote my daughter has used as part of her 2014 yearbook profile. People said to Van Gogh, "You can't be a famous artist, you only have one ear." To this he replied, "I can't hear you." Class of 2014, hold tight to your youthful dreams, your defining desires and your inner core. Thank you.
It comes to the point where you've probably heard a lot of speeches. Here's one more. I'm going to start this formal occasion off with a classic poem from the 1930s, if I could. No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks. Kick the tables, kick the chairs, kick the teachers down the stairs. Teacher at Damascus, Anne and I have farewelled many Year 12 groups, but it's a bit different. Today's a bit different because it's the first time I do this as a parent. There's a fine line you tread when you're a teacher at a school at which your own child attends, knowing full well how daggy and embarrassing dads can be. But I've skillfully tried to avoid my daughter and stay off the radar. This was all going well until last year, when I copped an extra in a class of Year 11 media, and there she was, much to her wide-eyed horror, there she was in the second row. You'd be happy to know I kept my cool. I tried to behave like a real teacher. Yes, for you out there, I can do impressions. I strutted about, I tried to sound knowledgeable, delivered with confidence, made eye contact with everybody. except one. Hell, I even tried to be a bit witty, only to be confronted in the car ride home that afternoon with, "Dad, don't ever embarrass me like that again." So I'm going to keep my promise, I'm going to keep this short, and I'm also going to keep it really, really generic. One simple fact: in the days and months to come, school will no longer be a reality. It's going to exist only in memory. For some, it will become a distorted blur in your mind, and looking through a few faces at the moment, that blur, that distortion has already started to happen. Your memories of school life are different to what you learnt within the classroom. Your experience of how and who you lived it with will be for some much more important, and the stuff that stays with you forever. So as a parent, what memories do I hope Joey and the rest of you lot take away from your years at Damascus? Firstly, your memories of your fellow classmates, friends, acquaintances, and those you give a passing nod to in the mornings. These were your fellow travellers, the person on your left and right, who helped you live the experience and survive the journey. Some of you will remain close, others you'll never see again. Look around you. The reality is that some of these people are going to go on to uni. Some may even graduate uni. Some are going to get jobs. Many will mooch off their parents for as long as they can. To be frank, it's worked out for them pretty well so far. Statistically, one of you is going to end up in jail. I'm telling you the truth. Others will become mothers or fathers. Some sadly will divorce.